Hi folks, welcome back. Good to have you back. You ever run into that problem like we do sometimes where you got too much leftover bread and you don't know what to do with it? Obviously you can feed your animals with it or whatever, the chickens love it, but we never like anything going to waste. And what my grandmas used to do, they'd make bread pudding with it. And you can use any type of bread unless it's like really strong like rye or something like that. You may not want to use that, but you can throw in biscuits, you can throw in just about anything. But my grandma's used to make it, and then of course my mom started making it, and then once mom was making it, we got together at some point and we updated the recipe and added a few more things that we liked, and we're really pleased at how this recipe comes out now, and we make it anytime we have leftover bread. So we got some leftover Amish white bread that Kelly made here a while back. She made me some cinnamon bread. And then we got some leftover bagels, sourdough bagels that she made the other day that were really good. You can make croutons with them too. Kelly's made up these croutons in the air fryer. She was cooking some bacon in there and she put the bread down in the bottom tray in the air fryer, and it soaked up all that bacon grease, and she seasoned them up and baked them and made some really good croutons with those. So that's another option. But we're going to use this bread here. It's all left over in the cupboard and I don't want it to start molding. So we've sprayed up a 9x13 pan. You need about 6 cups of bread, and I think that's going to be more than enough there. And you're just going to tear it into little pieces and throw it in the pan. So we're going to get that done right now. Alright, as you can see, we got all the bread tore up there. You're pretty much going to fill the pan up, what you're going to do. Don't have it overflowing, just up to the top. I did not use the bagels because the other bread was plenty. And I always use the oldest stuff. These bagels were made later. So we're going to keep those. Those are still edible as bagels. But like I said, you can use any type of bread. I've used leftover hamburger buns, hot dog buns, whatever you got in the cupboard that's going to start getting old. Tear it up and use it. So to this, I've already got the oven on preheat. You're going to add the wet mixture. And the wet mixture consists of, there's 5 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. And that's not the evaporated milk, that's the sweetened condensed stuff. So make sure you got the right stuff. 6.5 ounces of coconut milk. And that's what Mom and I added to give it a little bit different flavor that we really like. And we just get this brand here. There's some coconut milk that's really thick. This stuff we get at Dollar General, and it's not real thick. It's kind of maybe just a little thicker than regular milk, but not much. So if you got the really thick stuff, you're probably going to have to water it down a little bit, or add a little more regular milk, or cut back on the coconut milk. Just mix it with a little bit of milk so it's the right consistency, and then measure out 6.5 ounces of that. And then you're also going to need a cup and a half of regular milk. I use whole milk. You're going to use a half a cup of sugar, 3 eggs, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to mix all that up for your wet ingredients. And then all you do is just pour it over the dry. Pour it all over. Make sure you spread it out evenly. And you'll see that milk down in there. And this looks like I need just a little bit more liquid. So I'm going to add the rest of that can of the coconut milk. It's not going to hurt a thing. You'll see some little particles in there from the coconut milk. That doesn't mean it's bad. It all comes that way. So that way we know we got plenty of liquid in there. Now just take your hand and you're going to push down the bread until you see the milk mixture kind of come to the top. And all you're doing is you're kind of sponging that bread into the milk so it'll soak it up. Make sure everything's kind of moistened. I mean, it won't hurt to get some crusty bits up on top, but we want to make sure as much of that bread gets moistened up as we can. And that looks about right there. You see how the liquid's up to the top of the bread. All right. Then, next thing is we're going to dot some butter on top, and we'll be right back. All right, we got the butter dotted on top. If you really got a sweet tooth, you could sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top, but I don't find that it really needs it. So we're just going to put it in the oven from here. We are already preheated at 350 degrees. And that's going to cook, depending on your oven temperature, 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to want it really golden brown on top. And we'll show you the finished product here in a minute. Alright, it's been 55 minutes. We went 5 minutes more because it wasn't quite done. You want it golden brown on the top and feel it. You want to feel a little crust on top. You don't want to feel moisture when you touch the high spots. We'll pull this out right now. Well, look at that right there, golden brown, and that's going to be really tasty. Throw a little bit of whipped cream on top of that, and you will have it going on. Or a little bit of ice cream, maybe. The recipe calls, like I said before, for a little cinnamon and sugar sprinkled on top of that, but the cinnamon bread we used obviously has cinnamon in it, so I think it's got plenty. You don't have to put the cinnamon in it if you don't care for cinnamon. Like my wife's not a real big fan of cinnamon, but you can also put raisins in it if you want it. Some people like raisins in their bread pudding, but that's not one of my favorite things, so I leave them out. You could probably put apple pieces. You could mash up some banana, put it in there, whatever you want to do. Probably be fine. So, I hope you give this recipe a shot. It's you're really going to like it. We put that coconut milk in it, really kicked up the flavor to it. We did the same thing in our rice pudding that we make, Mom's recipe. My recipe is a little bit different than Mom's. I like mine just a hair sweeter, but it's good. We'll do a video on that one too. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, be good.